folks, I'm here at Bradshaw, and I'm at this Miners Memorial, and I want to start the video out here because I want to dedicate this video to all the miners that have lost their lives, either during mining, actually mining, or due to whatever they died of, like black lung. But we're here right now. It's kind of rainy out here, and I'll try to make this pretty quick. I'll turn it around here and let y'all look at it here. Okay, this was made dedicated to the miners that had lost their lives due to the coal industry. It was done by Sardak, the Sandy River District. There was a bunch got together and made this all happen here. A great memorial for the miners. This guy up here, he was brought in here on an ambulance. I had something to do with that. We hauled him in here on a gurney on the back of an ambulance, wherever they made him from. I forget where we went to get him, but we brought him in here and set him up here. It says here, if you want to have a coal miner's name engraved, please call Geneva Steel at this number. Well, that's great. I'd say there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names on these monuments. They're standing all around here. This is a great thing they've done. Get miner's hat and his boots. But yeah, miners died at a great cost mining this coal in these Appalachian hills. I believe there's names on all sides of this. Just on the front sides. And man, I'd say there's several thousand. I don't know how many they are on it. That's a great thing. We're gonna leave here and go to another spot. That was, I think where we had a mine explosion. We'll see y'all there. Yeah, I wanted to also mention that my daddy was a coal miner. He mined coal and raised all of us kids on a miner's pay. And I later on went to be a coal miner myself for a while. I also had loved ones and friends and family that was killed in coal mines. I have a cousin, Adam, that was tragically killed in a coal mine. So I dedicate this video to all those people that had done gone on. And I'm getting ready to leave here now and go to another spot that was where a mine disaster that happened many years ago. So we'll continue this video over there. Hey guys, here we are, ladies. We are at Bartley, West Virginia, right outside of Bradshaw. Here's the monument of about the mine explosion that happened near here at number 1 Shaft Mine on January 10th, 1940. Fire explosion killed 91 miners. The names of the men who lost their lives are inscribed on a monument erected at the park, Mine Workers America. We just had left from there. Boy, these men give all. They give all. And But this is what's left to remember them by. It's just a historical sign on the side of the road on Route 80 here in West Virginia. We're going to talk a little bit about the way they mined back in the day. As you see here, they were using some mules to pull a cart out that they would mine loaded with coal. And you have a guy there with his mules, I guess, to keep them in check, coming out. Done a lot different today, though. Yeah, here we have a group of guys. They've maybe waiting on to maybe finish up digging some coal out. Maybe they used picks and shovels back in that day and dynamite to drill with. So it was surely different back in that day and time of how we mined and how far we've came. And you see the lights on their head there. It's changed a lot, and it went into a carbide type lamp, which you see here. I still got one of those here somewhere. Another. You fill it with carbide and you light it actually to see by. So that turned out to be very dangerous as time went on, especially in gassy places where there was a lot of methane. So I'm sure there was a lot of explosions due to that. But here we have the way they detected if we was low on oxygen efficiency. You know, if we had enough oxygen enough to breathe, they would carry a canary in there, and if it fell over dead, well, I guess they figured it was not enough oxygen for it. It takes less for a bird than it does us, so it'll let us know when they fall over. It won't be long before I'd say we fall over. So that's what they used first to do that. And here we got an old track going into an old mines here with timber set. Looked like they probably would have pulled out of there with some mules. And they got the ribs shored up with timbers and cross timbers there in the top. As you see, you don't see any bolts there like they do now. Bolt and top. They just used timbers to do that. In this next clip here, you're going to see this guy. He's drilling, and actually what he's doing is using a breast auger to drill the holes, which they would tamp in with powder, and they would use that powder to blow up the coal to shovel out and put on a buggy or cart, and the mules would pull out. So they done things a lot different back in the day. But we're going to look here just a minute. We went on up in the years. Talk a little bit about the coke ovens. As you see here, there's a whole set here along. It's on Route 52 here, and coke ovens. What it done is transform coal into coke. So it's made to make steel with. Used high temperatures and baking process to release the product like gas and tar. So they use that to make coke. It's like big old ovens up and down through there. And that's how they made their coke. That's a process they used. But this next video, I go visit. This next clip, I go visit a spot where they are some. Check it out here. Yeah, folks, I'm up here to some old coke ovens. I got every dog in the world barking at me, but I was going to show you what it looked like close up on them, what they look like inside. It's pretty cool. have a lot of brick. They build it up in an oval shape, and where they made their coke for making steel. I've got another video that shows what they look like from the roadside. But here's what they look like. That was done back in the 30s or so, and 40s, I figure. You got a whole line of them all the way around through here. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Get up here just a little bit closer. Take a look in there. That's real cool. They would bake that stuff real hot and cause it to, the coal turn into coke, which they made their steel out of. Just thought I would add that. That's real cool. They go way around through there. I'd say there's 30 or 40 of them around that mountain right there. But thought I'd show you what they look like. It's pretty cool. This here is a shuttle car. This is modern day. Looks like it got a continuous miner boom in the back of it, loading it up. And what we're going to do next, we're going to go and do some interviews with some coal miners. Well, used to be coal miners. One's retired. Be a couple, maybe 3 total that we'll talk to. So we'll go ahead and meet them. And hey, folks, we're here with Ronnie Hamilton, and I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about his mining history, what he did in the mines, and what he is now. So, Ronnie, you go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Ronnie Hamilton, and anyway, I pastor the Geary PH Church here in Geary, West Virginia. And anyway, Danny goes to church here with me, and he's wanting to ask me a few questions about my mining industry. My mining career. And anyway, I started like straight out of high school at the age of 18, and I worked a total of 34 years underground. And anyway, with that said, I started. What we were doing, the price of coal was so low in the early 80s, and I started in 1978, by the way. But anyway, it wasn't bringing top price. Well, matter of fact, you couldn't sell it if it wasn't just top coal. So we were getting rock, or ash they call it, in the coal, which just dropped it down to you couldn't hardly give it away. So the owner, he moved the equipment, the continuous equipment back, and we conventional mined, which consists of a 14 10B joy loader and a cutting machine and a coal drill. And anyway, we'd cut the face and drill them and tamp them with dynamite and shoot it and then load it out. And anyway, we would do it that way, and then finally the market changed, and we went back from there to loading with continuous equipment, and it even gotten better, and we even got to the long wall. And I've long walled a little bit, not, I was an electrician at that point, and I guess the most memorable part of my career was I was running a continuous miner, and we were pillaring.
Now, what is a continuous miner? What does that do? A lot of folks don't know what a continuous miner is. Can you tell them what it is?
A continuous miner is what extracts the coal. It cuts it and loads it onto a shuttle car, and it transfers it down to the belt line, and then the belt takes it outside. But anyway, I was running one of them, and you develop the mine, and when you develop that mine, you drive it up, so to speak, and then when you get to the borderline of where you're going, as far as you can go, then you gotta pillar it or retrieve the blocks of coal that you created in uniform when you were driving up, and it gets pretty hairy at that point, because, you know, just imagine for some of you guys that's never been to coal mine, you take a four-legged table, and if it's sitting there and you start taking the legs out, it's gonna fall, and you want it to fall and to relieve the pressure. But anyway, I was mining, and I'd loaded. It was started my shift, and I'd loaded one shuttle car, and it left to go to the dump, and the other one come in, and I started the conveyor to load it, and it may have loaded a bucket full, or a 5-gallon bucket full or something, and then the whole entry set out on me and the miner. But the guy on the shuttle car was able to get out, and I was as well afterwards. And because my buddy told me that was helping me on the machine there, he said, "Don't come out of there." He said, "Because you won't make it." He said, "You're in the safest place you could be." I had a little canopy over me. And he said, because things are breaking up now. And anyway, it was about 4.5 foot of rock. And finally, it wasn't about 15, 20 minutes, but it seemed like 15 months. But anyway, I come out of there and walked all the way across the top of the part that had failed, and back to the intersection, and that's probably the
most memorable time of disaster. Yeah. You got hearing aids in both ears.
I do.
Now, can you tell me if you think that's mine related?
Well,
or
for the whole 34 years, yeah.
So what would you tell to the young guys about hearing protection or anything like that?
I would tell them to protect themselves in every way. Eye protection, hearing protection, respiratory, wear the mask. And the reason being, when you're young, I guess I'm not that abnormal. I didn't think it was ever going to happen to me. And one day you'll just wake up and your hearing will be gone if you don't use the hearing protection, and you'll wake up one day and you'll have an issue with breathing if you don't use the respirator.
Right. So when you also went to the plant, but we won't get into the plant. We will talk about underground.
Right.
But, so 30-some years you were underground.
Yeah, when I first started out of high school, I started as a general inside labor, and then I advanced from that to the belt crew, and from which was installing belt, and then I started running equipment, and then I made foreman papers.
You've done a lot. So do you think mining has come a long way since the old days?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
have they become safer than the old days?
Yes, and the reason I would say that is because most of the laws get in place by blood.
Right.
Meaning they were an accident that actually put it in place.
Yes.
And Yeah, me and my brother, we talk, and my grandfather had it harder than my dad,
Right.
and my dad had it harder than I
Harder.
do.
Right.
And yeah, technology is going on.
Yeah. So all of these laws have been put in place. It's been because somebody either got hurt or killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ronnie. I was so glad that you did the interview today. And is there anything you want to say to the young people? You already much said it about keeping yourself safe.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Just think before you move, and
And take 5, right?
yeah,
That was an old saying over at the mines, wasn't it,
it
for
was.
years? Yeah. So thank you so much, man. So much for talking with us, and
Okay.
thank you. Okay, guys. We're with you with a lady coal miner. I just want to ask her a few questions of what she did and when she started and how far she progressed underground. Your name is Amanda, right?
Yes.
Okay. Won't you tell me when you started and where you started at if you want, but you don't have to, and tell me what you done from start to the finish.
I started September 22nd of 2007. I was a red hat. I started at Pinnacle Coal Mine. And when I got my black cat, I became a belt man for like a month until I got into the maintenance program. And I was a maintenance electrician trainee for a year. And then I became a electrician after that. So I think that was 2009. And I did several things, like I was a miner helper. I can run all the equipment, but I like to be an electrician. I did it for 10 years underground.
Oh my! I remember I worked with you, not actually with you, but there, and I'd see you with your mining belt on and all them tools. I said, my goodness, how that little lady walk around with all them heavy tools on? Because so, what all would you wear? What was your daily thing that you used, and your tool belt, and there's a lot of other things that you had to wear.
Yeah, well, of course I had my rescuer on the left side, but I had my tool pouch, and I carried about anything I could in it. Channel locks, the crimpers, tape, screwdrivers, anything I could fit in that, wrenches, I would fit in that. And if I couldn't, I'd have like extra large gloves. I had 4 of them that hang on my side, and I'd have fuses and other tools down in them.
A lot of times, some of the other guys wouldn't have what they needed, and Amanda would have it.
Yeah,
in her stash.
I don't like being broke down anywhere, and I don't like to walk a very long distance for something simple.
And you carry a fuse with you a lot, right? Tell them about the fuse. What were the fuses for?
Well, I would carry the big 300 DC fuse for the trolley poles, and anytime that we would blow one of them, I had a fuse. I was ready to go.
And what's a trolley pole, and why would you use a trolley pole? These folks probably don't know what a trolley pole is.
It's kind of like what you see in England with them trolley things. It's about the same concept. You got your track, and then you got the wire, and you put your pole on the wire, and it makes a connection through the rod, and you had to have a fuse in it.
So where we worked, that's how we got around. A lot of these places didn't have that. They used battery powered rides. They used even went in on diesel, stuff like that. We were kind of fortunate, but it's unfortunate in ways. Tell us how it's unfortunate to be on track.
Track is rough. You did track, so you know that it's hard to put it together. You have to bend it.
Yeah, and when the power went out, also, you didn't have ride. No. You walked,
yes,
right?
I hated that.
Yeah, we've had to walk out. Now, how far on the top end, furthest end that we can remember that we had to walk out? Can you remember? It was 9 North and on up. We've had to walk out.
The last place that I walked from was and I don't know how far that was, but it took forever. It took me, I know some guys, they look like they was running, but it took me over an hour to walk out.
You had to walk out. Why would we be walking out? I know that's your question. Y'all probably thinking, so why would we be walking out?
Power outage.
When we don't have power, we don't have air, right? For very long.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah. Okay.
Guess.
So why do you think it that it was harder for a woman in the mines than it would be for a man, or would you think it was?
To me, it was harder. You have to prove yourself. You have to prove that you're strong enough, that you can mentally handle it. And some guys just don't believe in a woman doing that job.
Well, you proved yourself. You've done well that I can remember. And then we both left there and went toward the plant.
Yes.
Worked there for a little while before it all shut down. But I just wanted to ask a few questions there. And you got anything to add before we close off on that? About the new guys. Let's say something to the new guys that's just now starting.
Your family is important. Don't do anything stupid because you're easily replaced. Do things safely and work hard because you're getting paid good for it. So do a job good, do it correctly, and be safe about it.
Well, that was well said. Hey, Amanda, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and get on over here, and we'll see y'all guys next time. Thank y'all. What's your name, old friend?
My name's Austin Cooper.
Austin Cooper. What do you do underground, and how long have you worked?
Hey, I've been on the ground for about 4.5 months. Move crew, moving belt, power, stuff like that.
Okay. What did you do this morning? You look like you've been through the ringers this morning.
It was a rough night last night. Moving that belt and that power, cables was twisted up, and it was just a rough one.
Oh.
Just one of them nights, man.
Could I ask you how old are you?
20 years old.
20 years old. That's young. But back in the day, they started real early, like 10, 12, 14 years old. They had them underground. A lot of the young boys. But I was going to ask you, what do you want to do? How do you want to progress? What is your goal about underground? You want to become a what?
Yes. Become a section boss.
Oh,
Gonna
move on to the top.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you just a few questions since you're a young guy, and I just seen where you just come out of underground this morning. I wanted to see how it went. You said it went pretty rough. It usually does go pretty rough on them move crews. I've been on them myself before, and we sure thank you for.
Thank you, man.
Talking with us there, and we'll see if we can see him on video later on. So y'all have.